My hair is not behaving today because it's been rainy, so if it's to fly away, you'll know why. Looks like we've got some people joining. Hi, Becky. How are you today? Has it been rainy out where you are? Uh, it's been kind of off and on. It was rainy this morning, and then it got kind of sunny for a while and warmer, and now the clouds are coming back in, so it's getting rainy again, I think. Getting ready to rain again anyway. So, is anyone else on? Looks like there's 3 people, but one of them is me because I'm watching my screen so I can make sure I see all the comments. I don't know. I'm not having the... Oh, hi, Michelle. Well, thanks for tuning in. Has it been rainy down where you are, Michelle? I don't know if it made it down that far or not. But, so Becky, did you say you were going to be taking a trip soon? On when you were chatting on Lori's live last night? I'm still trying to figure out if we want to... Oh, okay. Well, I hope you go when the weather's not too bad. Although sometimes that can be the best time to go. Oh, but one time I went with my family, and I don't know, it was like oh, congratulations. Happy birthday and happy 10 years. I have lots of birthdays this month. In fact, today is one of my sisters-in-law birthday. And then on the 15th is one of my brother's birthdays. And then my other sister-in-law has a birthday in a couple of weeks. And then Michelle, who's on, has a birthday later this month. She's going to be an old lady, right, Michelle? I can say that because you're a couple months, like a month and a half older than I am. So, but one time I went to Disneyland. One time I went to Disneyland with my family. Oh, well, that's good. Hi, Lori. I'm glad you won't get any. It was pouring rain. It was usually we were fine going to Disneyland in the rain. We just would put ponchos on, and it was nice because it usually wasn't as crowded. But that day we ended up having to go home because the wind was blowing sideways and it blowing the rain sideways, and it was felt like a monsoon was coming through there. So that wasn't fun. So we were just chatting, Lori. Becky's going to be going to Disneyland this week. And she's celebrating her birthday. And 10 years together with her significant other. So we were talking about birthdays and that sort of thing. It kind of seems like a carryover from yesterday when we were talking, everybody was talking about their signs. And Lori, I don't know if you saw this comment or not, but you said your father was a Gemini. My father was a Gemini too. And he definitely had that Gemini stereotypical personality. Yeah, my we used to like to go into uh, Country Bear Jamboree when it rained because you could sit in there for a while, and that was one of my husband's favorite places to nap. Yeah, I've been thinking about going and getting the SoCal tickets because if you get the 3 day one, it seems like it's a decent price, but it's gotten so expensive now. We haven't been in a few years. I think we talked about that before. I used to get the passes, but I haven't gotten those in a long time because they've gotten so expensive. But I wasn't sure if we'd make 3 different days before the end of the time. Well, it. Oh, that's funny, Becky. They don't have they don't have Country Bear Jamboree anymore, Lori. In Disneyland, they replaced it with Winnie the Pooh, which is cute. I think they still have Country Bear Jamboree in Disney World, in the Magic Kingdom in Disney World, though. So, if you want to see it, you're gonna have to go there. Yeah, it is. It's cute. Hi, Biddy Boo. How are you today? So, is anybody well, Becky's going to Disneyland, but is anybody else doing anything fun for the holiday weekend that's coming up? It's President's Day. Oh, I'm doing pretty well. Trying to stay dry. It's a little rainy here, off and on. Are your animal adventures fun? You were you were saying your dad's ferret was taking the sweater off one of your dogs last night. Is that what you said? That sounds like fun. Oh, well, having a fire's nice. We haven't actually put a fire in any of our fireplaces. Oh, well, that's good, Becky. Did did she try to put it on, Lori, or was she just snuggling with it? I've never had any clothing for any of my animals, so one of my cats, though. Oh, that's funny. One of my cats we had when my husband and I were first married, he was he was the smartest cat I have ever known. And he liked to sleep on freshly laundered linens. And he knew how to open up cabinet doors. So he would open up our linen cabinet and then climb on top of the sheets or towels or blankets that we had in the linen cabinet. And then he would pull the door closed behind him. And so we used to get freaked out because we would be searching. We didn't have a very big place at the time. It was a 2 bedroom condo. And we would be looking all over trying to figure out, oh, that's funny. We would be trying to figure out where he was because we needed to make sure he came in because we had coyotes around, and we used to let him out during the day. We thought it would be okay. One day he disappeared, but unfortunately, but we were trying to make sure he was in. Yeah, I'd like to see you try to get a sweater on your that size dog. That would be interesting. But so we were looking all over, and we finally figured out he was in a linen cabinet. So we knew to look there ever after if we were wanting to try to find him. But he could also turn on light switches. This kind of light switch. I don't know if you can see that, the toggle kind. When we were selling our condo, we had taken him to my mother-in-law's house so that people could come in and see our condo. Oh, that's funny, Lori. I mean, not funny she passed away, but that she liked sweaters and raincoats. But we took my cat to my mother-in-law's so that we could have people come in and out of our condo when, when we weren't there, and make sure that the cat wouldn't get out. And one night my mother-in-law was asleep, and the light suddenly came on in the bedroom. Oh, well, maybe you can find something online. Have you tried Amazon? So my mother-in-law's sleeping and the lights come on, and she got freaked out. And then she looked around, but she didn't see anybody or anything. So she gets out of bed, goes over to the wall, turns the light off, goes back to bed, starts to fall asleep, and the light comes on again. And she doesn't see anything. And okay, this time she's really worried, like what is going on? So she turns off the light, goes back to bed, but this time she sits up in the bed and looks at the light switch, and the cat was running out from under the bed, jumping up, hitting the light switch, and running back under the bed again. So she was thinking she had a ghost in her room, but it turned out it was just the cat turning the light on and off. Have any of your cats ever done that, Lori? £186 is huge. We had a St. Bernard when I was growing up. Actually, it had been my brother's St. Bernard, but he was in the Air Force, and he got stationed at one point in Germany, and he didn't want to have their dog go into quarantine for 6 months. So they brought her to our house, and she came to live with us. And she weighed 125 pounds. And she had this huge, huge head. And she used to like to stand up and put her paws on your shoulder and look you in the face and have you hug her around the neck. She was very sweet, but when she was growing up, yeah, well, one of our cats we have now, Dana, can open our bedroom doors. We have the lever style handles, and he's very long when he stretches out. And so he stands up on his hind legs, and he puts his paws on the lever and pushes down on it. So he'll go into my daughter's rooms during the night and open their doors and go in. So we have some interesting cats. We have another cat also, and she likes to open the linen cabinet doors, but she doesn't go in and sleep on them. She just opens them up and looks inside. Wow, a round knob. That's pretty amazing. So Sally, the St. Bernard, was 125 pounds. I can't even imagine what 186 pounds would be like. Oh, showers. I had a kitty growing up. It was a tuxedo cat. Her name was Lolly. And we also had a Labrador. And the Labrador loved going out in the rain. Her name was Pepper. She was black. And so Pepper would go out in the rain, and Lolly would go with her. And she loved to play out in the rain because I always figured it was because she was following her doggy sister out there. And since the doggy sister loved the rain, Lolly would go out in the rain too. But she didn't like water otherwise. Like she didn't go in the sink or in the bathtub. Oh, geez, huge. Does he do that often? Simon, the one who can open up the doors, he likes the water also. One of our cats likes to go into our shower after we've taken a shower. I don't know why she does that. She doesn't lick the water or anything. She just goes in there. So, one of the things I've been having trouble with lately, I was going to ask all of you how you've been doing this, but ever since the holidays, I am just having a really difficult time getting back into all of my routine about things. Yeah, I think so, Michelle. Oh boy. While it was running, Becky? Oh, I've seen videos of that. Cats doing that. And then where they actually stick their head under the water and let the water fall down on top of their head. That's pretty funny. Does your cat do that? Oh. Who would like the taste of soap? That's pretty funny, Michelle. Yeah, Lori, I just like I have this routine. I'm supposed to have this routine where I've actually been following this routine now for about 3 years where I get up in the morning, and I started this before I stopped working, and I set it up to work best. So I get up in the morning and I clean one area of my house. So I do zone cleaning. I don't really do the fly lady method of zone cleaning, but I do zone cleaning. So I pick one area of my house. Oh wow, that is so funny, Becky. Yeah, I think cats maybe like water more than people think. They always think cats have an aversion to it, but a lot of the cats I've known have actually liked to be around the water. So, but anyway, I going back to what my routine, I I set it up so that I would do 15 to 20 minutes of cleaning in the morning before I go to work, and then I would do my exercise for the day, and then I would get ready, and then I'd be ready to do whatever else I had to do during the day. So it was either go to work, or now that I'm not working, I'm going to start doing all of my other stuff around the house, like laundry or doing some filming for YouTube or running errands, that sort of thing. So I had it, going along just fine until we came up to the holidays this year. And I just have not been able to get back in routine. I was having a few health issues. That was part of it, but I'm doing okay now, and I just can't get going again. So I was good last week. I did my yoga every day, which I had gotten out of the habit. I was doing it a couple times a week, but I just couldn't bring myself to do it some days when I wasn't feeling well. But I have totally gotten out of my cleaning routine. So now I'm finding myself doing massive cleaning all in one day. So yesterday I spent probably 4 or 5 hours in my kitchen cleaning. So I don't want to do that anymore. No, it's not winter blues. I'm not feeling like winter doldrum type of thing. It's just I got to get back in the mood. Like I usually also write things out in my planner. And one of the things I used to like to do was decorate my planner a little bit. I don't go overboard like a lot of people. I know. It was Saturday mornings, I usually do some stuff in the kitchen. So I'll usually do a thorough cleaning of my sink, more than just like wiping it down after we do the dishes. So I clean it thoroughly, and then if my stovetop needs to be cleaned, I'll do that. Usually it doesn't take me more than an hour to do my stuff, but it took me so long because I kept seeing other things I needed to do. So that was done, but I'm glad it's done because now the kitchen's really clean. So, but I much prefer doing the 15 minutes a day. So, hi Laura, how are you today? So I was just curious if anyone else was having like not following their normal routine, because it just feels like I'm not doing it right. Yeah, I like to have it all clean before I go to bed in the evening, so I wake up and there's nothing in the kitchen. But it doesn't always turn out that way since my daughters sometimes go into the kitchen and make a mess. Okay, bye Michelle. I hope your hair turns out nicely. Anyway, so I am trying to get back into a routine. I did do my exercising last week, and one thing I did was I put all of my stickers that I used for things for my planner in this little binder. It's one of those Better binders by Staples. And I put the stickers into little sheet protectors. So now I have my stickers in here, so I can just flip through and find what I want. And see, I need to put these in here. My yoga stickers. So, oh, Laura, I am using my Google Pixel phone for my live. And then I have my iPad off to the side. Oh, you're buffering? Are you still buffering? It's not buffering on my iPad. I have that up to the side. I'm not seeing it buffer at all. Okay, good. Yeah, so Laura, I use my Google Pixel phone. I try to make sure that I have my memory clear before I go on, because I think that sometimes causes buffering issues. And this is the first time I've had any buffering problems, so fortunately, knock on fake wood, I guess my desk is wood. Are you thinking of doing a live, Laura? That was funny last night, Lori, when the comments weren't showing up on your phone. It was really weird. I've never seen that happen before because your stream was coming in just fine after you rebooted, but then you lost all the comments. So I don't know why that would be. So you don't use a planner, Lori, you just use your phone? Oh, you had it happen before? Must have been one time when I wasn't on because I don't remember that. Yeah, I try to do that before I go live and um, before I start filming, because there have been a few times where I've forgotten to do that and I start filming and I it tells me in the middle of my filming that I run out of memory, and so I lose all of my footage. Yeah, I like to keep track in the planner. It I'm very visual, and although I have a calendar on my phone that I use for appointments and things, I like the satisfaction of going in and checking stuff off. I have used a planner since I was in probably college. I don't think I used it in high school. So, Laura, you said 10 thrift stores in one day? How have you already gone to the 10 thrift stores in one day, or are you still needing to do that? I don't even know if I know where there are 10 thrift stores where I live. I only know of two. Yeah, just like you, Dana. I only know of two. I could probably look up and see some other ones, different areas, but that's a lot. But I'd love to see what you get. Yeah, one of mine is fairly close, but I hardly ever go in there because it's pretty small. It's a American Cancer Society one. There is a good video on Mr. Carrington. I'm not. Is it a video about somebody named Mr. Carrington, or is there a channel Mr. Carrington? That would be very funny. My husband is Mr. Carrington. But he's not on YouTube. Well, he watches YouTube, but he doesn't do anything on YouTube. Mr. Carrington is the channel. Oh, I'll have to look that up. That's funny. My husband gets called Mr. Carrington a lot because he is a high school teacher. So whenever we go out and about places, we typically run into at least one of his students. So we'll be wandering around and all of a sudden I'll hear, Mr. Carrington. So I'll have to ask him if he's seen that channel. Yeah, well, he doesn't, he tries to avoid going places in public or doing things in public that his students might capture. So, for instance, we have a community pool, and he will not go to the community pool any longer because we live in the same neighborhood where the high school that he teaches is feeds from. So a lot of his students live in this neighborhood. So he will not go to the pool because he doesn't want people taking pictures of him at the pool. But the other day he was out mountain biking, and apparently he saw one of his students, and the student took a picture of him in his mountain biking outfit. So, but he doesn't want these pictures posted all over the internet. So yes, that's why I had that look. But we have run into people in the strangest places that he has had as students. And when he wasn't always a teacher. When I first met him, he was finishing up his degree for biochemistry, and he worked in genetic testing and research for about 8 years or so before he decided to become a teacher. And so right after he had started teaching, probably within like the first year of him teaching, we took a trip to Germany to see his grandparents, and we were in the Frankfurt airport, and this girl comes up to him and says, "Hi, Mr. Carrington." And it was a girl he had had as a student. And he had just started teaching. It's like, okay, well, how likely is it that you're going to run into a student in the Frankfurt airport? And he had maybe like, the first job he took was at the end of a school year, so he only was at that school for a couple months, so he only had like 80 to 100 students at that point. It wasn't like now where he's had hundreds and hundreds of students, thousands, because he's been teaching almost 22 years now. So if you think about him having 150 students a year, he probably, he has had a couple thousand students by this point, but at that point he hadn't had very many. So, but we run into them all over the place. Yeah, I heard her say that. She doesn't want her students to see her, but I'm guessing they would figure out who it was. I have never run into anybody I knew in Europe or Hawaii. Unless I was intending to meet them, like my husband's grandparents and his aunt, but that wasn't unintentional. But when the last time, no, it wasn't the last time. On one of our trips to Europe, we went into the metro in Paris, and right after we got in, there was a loud explosion. It sounded like gunshots, but really what it turned out to be was a transformer had blown. When the lights came back on, after we all calmed down, we started talking to this, it was scary. We started talking to this young man, and he was from the Netherlands, and he was there as an exchange student, and he was with this other young woman, and she was American, and she was from a city that is about half an hour north of where I live. It's called Fullerton. There's a Cal State school there, and so we didn't know her, but she was from Fullerton, which was my husband's undergrad alma mater, and Michelle, who was on earlier, that was her alma mater too. So it was, of all the people you could run into, to find somebody who was from a place 30 minutes from your house in the United States, that's pretty amazing considering how big our country is. Oh wow, that's funny, Laura. Now in Hawaii, I ran into an actor and his wife there, William H. Macy and his wife, what's her name, Felicity Huffman. They were on the same rental car shuttle with us one time. And it was right after he had made that movie Pleasantville. I don't know if you remember that movie, but they were we got on the shuttle and they walked in right after us. So that was kind of funny. But nobody I know. So I've never been to Norway. Have have you been there more than once, Laura? I'm sorry, I keep licking my lips because they're very chapped. In between the rain, we've been having what they call Santa Ana winds, which make it very dry. So we're going from being dry to being humid. So my lips are just chapped. So I'm going to have something to drink. Hopefully that'll help. You have family in Norway, Lori? I have relatives in Finland, but I am not in touch with them. Are you in touch with them, Lori? Oh wow, Laura. Were you working there, or your husband, or was it as a student? I've never been to Northern Europe. You have relatives in Switzerland, Finland, Scotland, and Ireland? Is that what you're saying, Lori? So are you part Finnish then? Puhutteko suomea? Your husband, okay. So my mother-in-law is German, and oh, you have Nordic blood. Ah. Well, I have Finnish and Swedish. Oh, that would be fun. Yeah, I've never been that far north. Um, I've been to England, and I've been to France, Paris, the Loire Valley, and then the Côte d'Azur, Mediterranean area. And then I've been to Italy, Greenland. That's interesting. I have flown over Greenland, but I've never been there or to Iceland. My nephew went to Iceland a few years ago. I think there are a lot of people like that, Dana. The first time I went to Europe, we went to visit my brother. He was a pilot in the Air Force, so he was stationed over there. I think I said that earlier in connection with our my St. Bernard story. So we went to visit him, and we were there for 3 weeks and went all over Germany and into Austria, and then we went to a little town in Italy where my great grandparents on my father's side of the family, his mother's grandparents had come from that town. No, his mother's parents, not grandparents. It's a little town in the mountains in the Tyrol area called Ravo. And then we went to Venice. So that's what I did when I was a teenager. And then, as I mentioned, my mother-in-law's German, so she's in this country, but her parents and her brother and her sister are all still in Germany. So when my daughters were very little, we went to Germany to visit his grandparents before they passed away. And so we saw a good chunk of Germany again at that point. But some parts I hadn't been to before, as his relatives lived closer to what was previously the border with East Germany. And then about 10, no, it had to be more than that, probably more like 15 years ago, my brother and his son went with us on a trip where we went to England and France. We mostly were in London and Paris, but we did do some little side trips. And then when my younger daughter graduated from high school, I asked her, she wanted to take a trip somewhere, so I said, okay, well, we can either go to Australia and New Zealand, because she loves penguins, and they have penguins in Australia and New Zealand. Yeah, we did a lot by car in Germany, Laura. Or go to Europe, and she wanted to go to Europe again because she was pretty little when we went the first time. So we did a long trip for her. So I've been a few times, but it's been a while now. But the odd thing is that when I was in college, I was thinking about going into the foreign service and trying to go to work in an embassy. So I studied a few different foreign languages. So in high school, I had studied French and Spanish. And then in college, I studied French and German, and I had done a conversational course in German when I was in high school. So I could speak a little German, which was nice because I could then communicate with and understand my husband's grandparents. More so his grandmother, because she was nice and would speak slowly to me and enunciate clearly. But his grandfather, who had been from Berlin originally, had this Berliner accent, which they slur their words and run the sentences together. And he also tended to mumble. So I would, when he was talking, only catch like every third word. So I would have to rely on my husband to tell me, since he had grown up listening to his grandfather. He was able to decipher it a lot better than I was. But yeah. And then his uncle pretended like he couldn't speak English, but he actually could speak English. His English was better than my German, put it that way. I probably had about a 5-year-old level of German. So, yeah, well, I was happy that I was able to do that. It worked out well that I'd actually studied that. I bet that surprised my husband when he met me, that I could actually speak a little German. But oh, you too, Laura. Well, I'm looking forward to seeing you go live. Let us know when you're planning on doing that. Yes. The accent is actually it's probably the closest language to German in terms of German is closest to German, yes. German is probably the closest to English out of the more common languages that people study. It's a lot closer to English than like French or Spanish are, definitely. So I think from speaking it with a fairly good accent, it's easier for Americans, but it has 3 genders, whereas Spanish and French have 2, and then it has 3 different cases. So the articles not only change by the word gender, they also change depending on what case you're talking in. So there's dative, accusative, and nominative. And so like in the normal speaking, you have the three genders, which are masculine, feminine, and neuter. So der is the masculine, die is the feminine, and das is the neuter. But depending on what you're saying, you could die can become der, and der can become dame, and it's very confusing. And it all depends on what form of preposition you're using, so it's confusing. But it has 3 cases. But Finnish has 15 cases. Are you guys back? It's back on my end. I don't know what I did, but I was trying to find a refresh button, and I didn't see one. So what I did was I hit the X button, and it said, "Do you want to cancel the stream?" And then I said no, and then it came back again. So not sure what happened, but so Dina, were you on when I was asking if anybody was doing anything fun this coming weekend? Becky was going to go to Disneyland during the week. I may actually go down to visit Michelle, who was on earlier. Michelle lives in San Diego, and it takes about an hour and 15 minutes down to from my house down to where she is. So I may go down and see her one day. Oh, that's right. I remember now, because I was saying I hadn't lit a fire yet. I have 2 fireplaces. I have one in my family room, which I decorated for that Valentine's mantle one. And that one we could turn on, because it's fine. But the one up in my bonus room, we demolished the fireplace around a couple of years ago. To San Diego, or to cuddle by a fire? So in my bonus room, where we spend more of our time, that one we demolished the fireplace around. So I am a little leery of actually putting the fire on in there, because I don't want something to catch fire. So maybe this summer we'll get it finished. Oh, that's nice. Now, is it a freestanding wood stove, or is it one of those that actually fits inside of a fireplace? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I like San Diego a lot. The weather's beautiful. It seems a little more laid back than where I live in Orange County. Things are a little more hectic here. And I love Mission Bay. And Coronado, freestanding. Okay. My, one of my brothers has a cabin up in our local mount. Well, it's not a cabin. It's a big house, but it's up in the local mountains, and they have a gas stove, not gas stove, a wood stove, but theirs is one of the kind that fits into the like fireplace firebox area, and it has a heat exchanger on it. And when they put that thing on, it really makes the whole living room and dining room area so warm. Well, that's nice. I like to watch fires, watch how the flames are flickering. So, did either of you do the Tracy's candy bar challenge? I haven't had a chance to look at it, look at the playlist today. That's neat. I have never cooked on a wood stove. My mother always talked about how my grandmother grew up cooking on a wood stove, and that she could tell the right temperature of the oven by just by putting her hand in it, from having used a wood burning stove oven type of thing growing up. But I've never done that. Did you grow up cooking on a wood stove, Dana, or is this something you've learned how to do since having one of your own? Oh, I don't like electric stoves either. I much prefer gas. I I have my ideal combination now. I have a gas stove and an electric oven. The electric ovens I find keep the temperature more consistent throughout the oven. So when we did our kitchen, fortunately there was already a gas line going over to where our cooktop is. So I was able to um, put in a gas top. Oh, did you teach yourself? I love the way a wood fire smells, but we actually have gas fireplaces in my house because um, we were having trouble with our chimney draw. We'd get a chimney sweep out and have them clean both of the chimneys, but because there can be fire danger around where we live, we figured it would be better to have a gas fire instead of instead of the wood burning one, so we wouldn't get sparks. Even though there's spark arresters on the tops of our chimneys, it just was a lot easier. You taught yourself. Wow, good for you. I have cooked over an open fire, and I've cooked using charcoal with a box oven because I used to be the leader for my daughter's Girl Scout troops. And when you go camping with the Girl Scouts, they teach you how to do all of that stuff. So we'll do that. But I don't, I did that for when we went camping, but most of the time, no. And if we barbecue, my husband is the one who does the food on the barbecue. That's his job. He likes doing that. So I have never barbecued. So never cooked on a wood stove and never barbecued. That's pretty neat. It's starting to rain again. I can hear it on my kitchen window. Oh, well, that's good. But I I actually do not like camping. But for my daughter, I was willing to make the sacrifice. I prefer sleeping in a nice warm bed at night. And going camping with the Girl Scouts, they also want you to do things in a particular way. So it can be a lot more difficult than just going camping like you might with your family. So, well, we've been on here now for almost an hour, so I think I may sign off. Oh, that's a good idea, Dana. Hi, Jack. So I hope you all, I don't think there are too many on anymore. I hope you have a lovely rest of the weekend. Lori, are you going to do any more lives this week? Oh, you hear the rain from my video? That's funny. Oh, okay. Well, I'll try to tune in then if I see it pop up. Yeah, the rain makes a lot of noise because I have that garden window, and so it has a glass roof on it basically, so it can make a lot of noise. You too, Dana. I'll see you later, Lori. Take care, all. Okay, different stuff from yesterday. Oh, by the way, Lori, if you're still on, I'm wearing the amethyst ring. You can see it's a little bit big on me, but see, it's so pretty. Okay, well then I'll try to join and see if you've got something new. That's what you said. I'll be interested to see what he has in my size. It's so funny. I always feel weird because people are talking about how they need certain sizes, and like for me, I need a 6-inch bracelet, and I can never find any that size. Yes, it's a gorgeous color. This one. I don't have the necklace on though because it's too long. It sort of hits right at the V of this, so it falls inside my blouse. She has all kinds of sizes, Dana, but I I actually wear like a 4.5, but 5 will work on my fingers. So I wear a very small ring. So five I can wear on this my ring finger, and a 6 on my middle finger, and he usually doesn't have a lot in those sizes. So I look forward to see what he has in 5 when he comes back. All right, well, I'll let you guys go. Thank you so much for for watching and tuning in and for giving me the thumbs up. I appreciate that. And I'm looking forward to seeing what you all create going forward this coming week. So take care. Bye all.